In addition to directing Michael Jackson's Who Is It, Aerosmith's Janie's Got a Gun, and Billy Idol's Cradle of Love, for Madonna, he directed some of her iconic music videos. Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're diving into the life and legacy of one David Fincher. But first, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex, for sponsoring this episode. What is Poddex, you ask? That is a great question. I'm glad you asked. Poddex are unique interview questions and episode starting prompts in the palm of your hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. And hey, use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your first order. That's Larry21 for 10%. Check them out today. So today, let's dive right into the life and legacy of David Fincher. David Andrew Leo Fincher was born on August 28, 1962 in Denver, Colorado. His mother, Claire May, was a mental health nurse from South Dakota who worked in drug addiction programs. His father, Howard Kelly Fincher, was an author from Oklahoma who worked as a reporter and bureau chief for Life magazine. When he was 2 years old, the family moved to San Anselmo, California. Filmmaker George Lucas was one of his neighbors. Fincher was fascinated with filmmaking from the age of 8, and he began making films with an 8mm camera. He has said, quote, "I was 8 years old when I saw a documentary on the making of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It had never occurred to me that movies didn't take place in real time. I knew that they were fake. I knew that the people were acting, but it had never occurred to me that it could take, good God, 4 months to make a movie. It showed the entire company with all these rental horses and moving trailers to shoot a scene on top of a train. They would hire somebody who looked like Robert Redford to jump onto the train. It never occurred to me that there were hours between each of these shots. The actual circus of it was invisible, as it should be. But in seeing that, I became obsessed with the idea of how it was the ultimate magic trick. The notion that 24 still photographs are shown in such quick succession that movement is imparted from it. And I thought there would never be anything that would be as interesting as that to do with the rest of my life." In his teens, Fincher moved to Ashland, Oregon, where he attended Ashland High School. He directed plays and designed sets and lighting after school, and was a non-union projectionist at Varsity Theater, as well as a production assistant at the local television news station KOBI in Medford, Oregon. He supported himself by working as a busboy, dishwasher, and fry cook. Fincher married model Danya Fiorentino in 1990, but divorced in 1995. They have one daughter together, born in 1994, Felix. In 1996, he married producer, apologies for saying this name wrong, but Sion Shafin. While establishing himself in the film industry, Fincher was employed at John Cordy's studio as a production head. Gaining further experience, he became a visual effects producer, working on the animated Twice Upon a Time with George Lucas. He was hired by Industrial Light Magic in 1983 as an assistant cameraman and matte photographer, and worked on Return of the Jedi, as well as Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. In 1984, he left ILM to direct a TV commercial for the American Cancer Society. It depicted a fetus smoking a cigarette. This quickly brought Fincher to the attention of producers in Los Angeles, and he was soon given the opportunity to direct Rick Springfield's 1985 documentary, The Beat of the Live Drum. Set on a directing career, Fincher co-founded production company Propaganda Films and started directing commercials and music videos. Other directors such as Michael Bay, Spike Jonze, Paul Rashman, Zack Snyder, and Gore Verbinski also honed their skills at Propaganda Films before moving on to feature films. Fincher directed TV commercials for many companies, including Levi's, Converse, Nike, Pepsi, Revlon, Sony, Coca-Cola, and Chanel, although he loathed doing them. Starting in 1984, Fincher began his foray into music videos. He directed videos for various artists, including singer-songwriter Rick Springfield, Martha Davis, Paula Abdul, The Outfield, Jermaine Stewart. Fincher's 1990 music video for Freedom 90 was one of the most successful for George Michael. In addition to directing Michael Jackson's Who Is It, Aerosmith's Janie's Got a Gun, and Billy Idol's Cradle of Love, for Madonna, he directed some of her iconic music videos, Express Yourself, Oh Father, and Bad Girl. Between 1984 and 1993, Fincher was credited as a director for 53 music videos. He referred to the production of music videos as his own film school, in which he learned how to work efficiently within a small budget and time frame. And now on to the breakthrough that David Fincher finally reached. In 1990, 20th Century Fox hired Fincher to replace Vincent Ward as a director for the sci-fi horror Alien 3. His film directorial debut, it was the third installment in the Alien franchise starring Sigourney Weaver. The film was released in May 1992 to a mixed reception from critics and was considered weaker than the preceding films. From the beginning, Alien 3 was hampered by studio intervention and several abandoned scripts. Peter Travers of the Rolling Stone called the film bold and haunting, despite the struggle of 9 writers and studio interference. The film received an Academy Award nomination for Best Visual Effects. Years later, Fincher publicly expressed his dismay and subsequently disowned the film. In the book Director's Cut, Picturing Hollywood in the 21st Century, Fincher blames the producers for their lack of trust in him. In an interview with The Guardian in 2009, he stated, quote, "No one hated it more than me. To this day, no one hates it more than me." After this critical disappointment, Fincher eschewed reading film scripts or directing another project. He briefly retreated to directing commercials and music videos, including the video for the song Love is Strong by the Rolling Stones in 1994, which won the Grammy Award for Best Music Video. Shortly, Fincher decided to make a foray back into the film. He read Andrew Kevin Walker's original screenplay for Seven, which had been revised by the director attached to the project at one point. Fincher expressed no interest in directing the revised version, so New Line Cinema agreed to keep the original ending, starring Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kevin Spacey. It tells the story of 2 detectives who attempt to identify a serial killer who based his murders on the Christian 7 Deadly Sins. Seven was positively received by film critics and was one of the highest earning films in 1995, grossing more than $320 million worldwide. Writing for Sight and Sound, Jonathan Rathall said, quote, "It stands as the most complex and disturbing entry in the serial killer genre since Manhunter." Roger Ebert opined that Seven, quote, "is one of the darkest and most merciless films ever made in the Hollywood mainstream." Following Seven, Fincher directed a music video for 8th Avenue Heartache by the Wallflowers, and went on to direct his 3rd feature film, the mystery thriller The Game, written by the duo John Brancato and Michael Ferris. Fincher also hired Seven screenwriter Andrew Kevin Walker to contribute and polish the script. Filmed on location in San Francisco, the story follows an investment banker, played by Michael Douglas, who receives an unusual gift from his younger brother, where he becomes involved in a game that integrates with his everyday life, making him unable to differentiate between game and reality. Elmer Havidson of the BBC was critical of the ending, but praised the visuals. Fincher does a marvelous job of turning ordinary city locations into frightening backdrops, where every corner is another step into the unknown. Upon the game's release in September 1997, the film received generally favorable reviews, but performed moderately at the box office. Sometime afterward, the game was included in the Criterion Collection. Then, in August 1997, Fincher agreed to direct Fight Club, based on the 1996 novel of the same name. It was his 2nd film with 20th Century Fox after the troubled production of Alien 3, starring Brad Pitt, Edward Norton, and Helena Bonham Carter. The film is about a nameless office worker suffering from insomnia who meets a salesman and together forms an underground fighting club as a form of therapy. Fox struggled with the marketing of the film and was concerned that it would have a limited audience. Fight Club premiered on October 15th, 1999, to a polarized response and modest box office success. The film grossed $100.9 million against a budget of $63 million. Initially, many critics thought the film was a, quote, violent and dangerous express train of aggression. However, in the following years, Fight Club became a cult favorite and gained acknowledgement for its multi-layered themes. The film has been the source of critical analysis from academics and film critics. Then, in 1999, Fincher was shortlisted by Columbia Pictures as one of the potential directors to helm Spider-Man 2002, a live-action adaptation of the fictional comic book character in the same name. His pitch featured an older, experienced version of the character in his adult years in the post-adolescent portion of his life as a photographer and his crime-fighting double life as a vigilante, with a more grounded, character-driven, and drama-oriented tone and direction. Finch later said of his pitch, quote, I went in, told them what I might be interested in doing, and they hated it. Sam Raimi was chosen as director instead. Let us know in the comment section below. What is your favorite David Fincher movie? For me, it's Seven, hands down. And now, on to our favorite segment, the Pod Deck segment. Today's question is, would you rather have an endless supply of batteries or toilet paper? Kind of funny that I pulled this up in the midst of COVID. I'm going to go with endless supply of batteries because, I mean, worst comes to worst, there's a lot of options you can use for toilet paper. Towels, paper towels, bath towels, just pieces of paper if you had to, or just wash yourself off in a shower. Let us know in the comment section below. You want an endless supply of batteries or an endless supply of toilet paper? And follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.